The businesses that last are not built by human hands, they are established by God's design. Listen carefully, for I am Solomon, son of David, king of Israel, the one to whom the Lord granted wisdom beyond all who came before me or after. I sat upon the throne when Israel reached heights of prosperity the world had never witnessed. My ships sailed distant seas, my merchants traded in every nation, and my wealth became a proverb among kingdoms. Yet none of this came from my cleverness alone. It came from understanding the divine order of commerce, the businesses that God Himself embedded into creation. Today, you live in a world obsessed with entrepreneurship, startup culture, and the next big innovation. Everyone is searching for the formula, the secret, the shortcut to wealth. But I tell you this, there are only four businesses, four foundational pillars that carry heaven's endorsement, and they have remained unchanged since the Garden of Eden. They are not trends. They are not subject to market crashes or economic downturns. They are rooted in God's eternal order. Before we even begin, ask yourself, why did God lead me to this video today? Like and comment, I'm here, if you're listening, and stay with me, because the answer may come at the end. You see, most people enter business with ambition, but without alignment. They chase riches without righteousness, profit without purpose, and so they build on sand. Their ventures rise quickly and collapse even faster. But the one who builds according to God's pattern, that one builds on bedrock, that one prospers not just for a season, but across generations. Let me take you back to the very beginning. When God created the heavens and the earth, He didn't just create beauty, He created systems, order, economy. And within that divine economy, He established certain businesses that would sustain humanity, provide livelihood, and reflect His nature. These are not businesses invented by man. They are businesses discovered by those wise enough to see God's fingerprints on creation. I learned this truth not in the palace, but in studying the Torah, in observing the patriarchs, in seeking the Lord with all my heart. And when God appeared to me in a dream at Gibeon and asked what I desired, I did not ask for wealth. I asked for wisdom. And what did wisdom reveal? That true prosperity is not found in chasing what glitters, but in stewarding what God has already blessed. So let me unveil these four businesses to you, not as theory, but as testimony, not as speculation, but as revelation. These are the businesses that fed Abraham's household, that sustained Isaac through famine, that multiplied Jacob's flocks, that built my kingdom, and that will carry you through every economic storm you will face. The first business, agriculture, the business of cultivating God's earth. In the beginning, God planted a garden, not a palace, not a marketplace, a garden. And He placed man in it, not to sit idle, but to work it and keep it. This was the first business assignment ever given by heaven. Agriculture, the cultivation of the earth, the growing of food, the stewardship of creation. Now pay attention to this. God did not say, let man invent something clever. He said, let man tend what I have already made fruitful. Do you see the principle? The business of agriculture is not about creating provision. It's about partnering with God's provision. The seed is His, the soil is His, the rain is His, the sunshine is His. Your role is faithfulness, diligence, and obedience to the seasons. This is why agriculture has never failed those who honor God in it. Famine may come, drought may threaten, but the one who trusts the Lord and works the land with integrity will eat. Proverbs tells us, the one who works his land will have abundant food, but he who chases fantasies lacks sense. Do you hear that? Chasing fantasies. How many of you are chasing fantasies? Crypto schemes, get-rich-quick promises, trends that vanish like morning mist, while ignoring the very ground beneath your feet. I invested heavily in agriculture. My kingdom had vineyards, olive groves, gardens, orchards. I employed farmers, gardeners, overseers. I understood that he who controls food controls the future. And this is not just about literal farming. It's about any business that feeds, nourishes, sustains life. Restaurants that serve real food, markets that distribute produce, companies that bring nutrition to communities. These businesses are blessed because they align with God's original command, to cultivate and provide. But here's the warning. If you enter agriculture or any food-related business with greed, exploitation, or dishonesty, you will curse your own harvest. God will not bless hands that hoard while others starve. He will not multiply the storehouses of those who manipulate prices and oppress the poor. But for the one who sows with generosity, who treats workers justly, who gives thanks for every harvest, that one will reap bountifully in due season without fail. The second business, real estate, the business of land and dwelling. Now we come to the second business, one that has enriched families and nations since the days of Abraham, real estate. The ownership, development and stewardship of land and property. This is not a modern invention. This is ancient, biblical, covenantal. When God called Abraham, what did he promise him? Land. To your offspring, I will give this land. The entire covenant was rooted in real estate, the promised land, the inheritance, the territory. God understands that land is not just dirt. It is legacy. It is stability. It is generational wealth. Throughout Scripture we see this pattern. Isaac dug wells and claimed territory. Jacob purchased land in Shechem. Joseph was buried in land his family owned. The tribes of Israel each received their portion of the land. And I, Solomon, I built cities, fortresses, storehouses. I developed infrastructure. I understood that he who controls land controls destiny. But here's what you must understand about real estate in God's economy. It is not merely about accumulation. It is about stewardship and provision. When you purchase land, you are not just investing, you are accepting responsibility. Responsibility to use it righteously, to provide shelter, to create communities, to honor God with what He has entrusted to you. Real estate is one of the few businesses where value is almost guaranteed over time, because land is finite and population grows. But this does not mean every real estate venture is blessed. If you acquire property through deception, if you displace the vulnerable for profit, if you build shoddy structures that endanger lives, you are not building a business, you are building a curse. I have seen it happen. Leaders who seized land unjustly, who moved boundary stones, who evicted widows and orphans. And what happened to them? Their wealth crumbled. Their names became a disgrace, because God is the ultimate landowner, and He demands justice from those who manage His earth. But the one who buys land with integrity, who develops property that blesses communities, who provides safe and affordable housing, who invests in the long term rather than flipping for quick gain, that one walks in divine favor. That one builds wealth that transfers to children and grandchildren. Let me tell you something practical. If you want to build lasting wealth, stop renting your entire life and start owning. Even if it's small, even if it's modest, begin somewhere. Because land ownership is one of God's primary vehicles for generational transfer. It is how families rise. It is how legacies are built. The third business, trade and commerce. The business of exchange and connection. The third business is trade, the exchange of goods, the movement of products, the connection of supply with demand. This is the business of merchants, traders, importers, exporters, and it is deeply biblical. Consider the patriarchs. Abraham was wealthy, not just in livestock, but in his ability to trade and negotiate. His servants traveled far and wide. Jacob sent gifts and goods to reconcile with Esau. Joseph's brothers were involved in trade caravans. The Queen of Sheba came to me with camels bearing spices, gold, and precious stones, trade. And my own kingdom, I built a fleet of trading ships that sailed to Tarshish, Ophir, and beyond. I imported gold, silver, ivory, apes, peacocks. I exported wisdom, craftsmanship and goods. My merchants were renowned. My trade routes brought wealth into Israel like rivers flowing into the sea. Why? Because I understood that trade is not just about profit. It's about connection. It's about serving needs. It's about being the bridge between those who have and those who need. God designed the world with diversity. Not every land produces the same resources. This is intentional. It forces interdependence. It requires relationship. It creates opportunity for those willing to be the link, the connector, the one who brings value from here to there. If you are in trade, whether you sell products online, operate a retail store, run a distribution company, or broker deals, you are participating in one of the oldest and most sustainable businesses in history. But here's the key: your success is directly tied to your integrity. A merchant who uses false weights, who deceives customers, who exploits ignorance, that merchant will not last. Proverbs says, "The Lord detests dishonest scales, but accurate weights find favor with him." Your reputation is your greatest asset in trade. One lie can destroy decades of trust. One shortcut can collapse an empire. But the merchant who deals honestly, who values relationships over transactions, who serves rather than exploits, that merchant will thrive in every season. I also want you to understand this. Trade requires courage. My ships faced storms. My caravans faced bandits. Risk is inherent, but so is reward. God blesses the bold, the diligent, the one willing to venture beyond comfort zones in pursuit of provision. And in your generation, trade has never been easier. You have technology that connects you to the entire world. You can trade from your living room. You can reach customers on every continent. This is unprecedented. But don't let ease make you lazy. Don't let convenience make you careless. The principles remain the same: integrity, service, diligence, and trust in God's provision. The fourth business: education and wisdom, the business of transformation. Now we come to the fourth business, and this one is the most misunderstood, yet the most powerful: education, the transfer of knowledge, the teaching of wisdom, the transformation of minds and lives. This is not a business in the way most people think of business, but it is the business I myself mastered, and it brought me more honor and wealth than all my other ventures combined. When the Queen of Sheba heard of my wisdom, she traveled from the ends of the earth to test me with hard questions. She came with gold and spices, yes, but what she sought was knowledge. And after I answered her questions, after she saw my wisdom, she said, "The report I heard in my own country about your achievements and your wisdom is true. But I did not believe these things until I came and saw with my own eyes. Indeed, not even half was told me. In wisdom and wealth you have far exceeded the report I heard." What did she pay for? Wisdom. What did nations seek from me? Counsel. What did kings desire? Understanding. I wrote 3,000 proverbs. I composed over 1,000 songs. I taught about plants, animals, and the ways of creation. And people paid in gold, in goods, in allegiance for access to that wisdom. This is the business of transformation: teaching, coaching, consulting, writing, speaking, mentorship, creating courses, building schools, equipping others with skills and knowledge that change their lives. And it is perhaps the most blessed business of all, because it directly reflects God's own nature. He is the ultimate teacher. He is wisdom personified. And when you teach truth, when you transfer knowledge that sets people free, you are doing kingdom work that also generates kingdom provision. In your generation, this business has exploded. People are desperate for wisdom. They pay for online courses, coaching programs, seminars, books, conferences. They will invest in what transforms them. And here's the beauty: once you develop wisdom or a skill, you can teach it infinitely. You can record it once and sell it 1,000 times. You can mentor one person or 1,000,000. But hear me clearly: this business requires authenticity. You cannot sell what you do not possess. You cannot teach what you have not lived. The greatest curse on a teacher is hypocrisy, saying one thing and living another. If you claim to teach prosperity but live in chaos, no one will follow. If you claim to teach peace but live in turmoil, your words will fall flat. The education business rewards depth. It rewards mastery. It rewards those who invest years in becoming excellent at something, then turn around and equip others. This is not about scamming people with empty promises. This is about genuine transformation. Teaching someone to fish rather than just giving them a fish. And here's the eternal principle. When you teach God's truth, when you equip people to live according to His word, heaven itself backs your work. Your influence expands. Your reach multiplies. Your income becomes a byproduct of your impact. Why these four? Why not others? Now you may be asking, Solomon, what about technology? What about entertainment? What about finance? Let me clarify. I am not saying other businesses cannot prosper. I am saying these four businesses are rooted in creation itself. They are foundational. They meet fundamental human needs: food, shelter, connection, and transformation. Technology is a tool. It can serve these four businesses, but it is not a business in itself. Entertainment is temporary. It distracts but does not sustain. Finance is a system. It facilitates but does not create. But agriculture feeds. Real estate shelters. Trade connects. Education transforms. These are eternal. These are blessed. And here's what I've observed across my 70 years of life. The wealthiest, most stable families and kingdoms are those who build their prosperity on these four pillars. They may use modern tools, they may innovate within these spaces, but the foundation remains unchanged. You want to build generational wealth? Invest in land, grow food, trade with integrity, teach wisdom. These are not get-rich-quick schemes. These are build-rich-steadily strategies. They require patience, diligence, faithfulness, but they deliver every single time. The spiritual foundation, why God blesses these businesses. But now let me tell you the deeper truth, the spiritual reality that undergirds all of this. These four businesses are blessed not because they are clever, but because they reflect God's character and fulfill His purposes. Agriculture reflects God as provider. He is the one who makes seeds grow. He is the one who sends rain. When you cultivate the earth, you partner with His provision. Real estate reflects God as builder and dwelling place. He builds homes. He establishes foundations. He desires to dwell with His people. When you provide shelter, you reflect His heart. Trade reflects God as connector and reconciler. He brings together what is divided. He bridges gaps. He restores relationships. When you trade with integrity, you participate in His reconciling work. Education reflects God as teacher and revealer. He is the source of all wisdom. He instructs. He transforms. When you teach truth, you echo His voice. Do you see it? These businesses are not secular. They are sacred. They are not worldly. They are kingdom. And when you enter them with a kingdom mindset, with righteousness and reverence, heaven opens over your work. But this requires something most people are unwilling to give: surrender. You must surrender your business to God. You must invite Him into your strategies. You must seek His wisdom in every decision. You must honor Him with your first fruits. You must treat employees, customers, and partners as image bearers of God. This is not just about making money. This is about building kingdom infrastructure. This is about stewarding resources in a way that glorifies God and blesses humanity. Practical steps: how to enter these businesses. So let me give you practical steps. How do you actually enter these four businesses? For agriculture, start small. Even if you live in a city, you can grow herbs, vegetables, start a community garden, learn about food systems, invest in agricultural stocks or farmland, partner with farmers, create a food-based business, meal prep, catering, healthy snacks. The point is to connect with the source of provision. For real estate, educate yourself, read books, take courses, save for a down payment. Buy your first property, even if it's a small condo or a plot of land. Rent it out, let it appreciate, reinvest, build slowly, don't rush. Real estate rewards patience. For trade, identify a need. Find a product or service that solves a problem. Start an online store. Become an affiliate. Source products and sell them. Build relationships with suppliers and customers. Focus on value and integrity. Trade is about serving needs profitably. For education, master something. Become excellent in a skill or area of knowledge, then teach it. Start a blog, a YouTube channel, a course, a coaching program. Write a book. Speak at events. Your knowledge is valuable. Package it and offer it to those who need it. And in all of this, pray. Seek God's guidance. Ask Him which path He is calling you to. Don't just chase money, chase assignment. Because when you're in your God-given assignment, provision follows automatically. The warning, don't build outside God's blessing. But I must give you a warning. One I learned the hard way. Toward the end of my life, I strayed. I pursued pleasure. I accumulated without purpose. I built monuments to my own glory. And you know what I discovered? Vanity, meaninglessness. I have seen all the things that are done under the sun. All of them are meaningless, a chasing after the wind. You can build the biggest business empire in the world, but if it's not built on God's foundation, it will crumble. If it's not aligned with His purposes, it will leave you empty. Success without God is the greatest failure. So, build wisely, build righteously, build with eternity in mind. Let your business be a platform for kingdom impact. Let your wealth be a tool for generosity. Let your influence point people to the one who gave you everything. And remember this, the businesses that last are not built by human hands. They are established by God's design. When you align with His design, you tap into a stream of blessing that never runs dry. These 4 businesses, agriculture, real estate, trade, and education, are your inheritance. They are the pathways to prosperity that have sustained God's people for 4,000 years. They will sustain you too, but only if you walk in wisdom, only if you honor God in every transaction, only if you build with integrity and faith. Final charge, your assignment awaits. So I leave you with this charge. Stop wandering. Stop chasing every shiny object. Stop looking for shortcuts. Instead, choose one of these 4 businesses. Commit to it. Master it. Build it with excellence. Honor God in it. And watch as heaven backs your work. You were not created to barely survive. You were created to thrive, to prosper, to be the head and not the tail. But prosperity comes through alignment, not ambition. It comes through obedience, not schemes. The question is not whether God wants to bless you. He does. The question is whether you're willing to build according to His pattern. Are you willing to work? Are you willing to wait? Are you willing to walk in integrity even when no one is watching? If you are, then the same God who blessed Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Solomon will bless you, not because you're special, but because you're submitted. Not because you're clever, but because you're covenanted. So go, choose your business, build with wisdom, walk in faith. And may the Lord establish the work of your hands. May He multiply your efforts beyond what you can imagine. And may your prosperity be a testimony to the goodness and faithfulness of God. This is not just advice. This is ancient wisdom. This is kingdom strategy. This is the path to lasting wealth. Walk in it, and you will never be moved. If this message stirred something in your spirit, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, and share it with someone walking in kingdom purpose. Subscribe and turn on the bell. Your next divine instruction may come in the very next video. Comment Kingdom Wealth below. Let heaven know you're listening.